Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This channel is all about me and my journey throughout CRNA school. I just started. I'm going to be going into week 10. Just got over some pretty tough exams from week 8 and week 9. Survived them all, thank goodness. But anyways, this video is going to be about how I take my notes in class. If you guys are interested, let's get into the nitty-gritty. So as of recently, I've been trying to integrate ways to use the actual software on like my iPad or my computer in order to not have to print so much. I'm not trying to be conservative or anything, but I just feel like I always end up with a wasted amount of paper when I maybe reference it once or twice, when I could literally just go back and access it on my computer or my iPad at any time. So it's great because in my backpack I really don't have any loose papers or any folders really for the most part, unless I have an exam coming up, because I do like to write things down when it comes to like test time, because I'll write like things that I need to remember, especially like if they're bolded or in red, I'll write that down on a separate paper. But when I take my actual notes in class, I actually download the PDF version of the PowerPoint and then I open it in OneNote. So I'm going to actually show you guys how I do that. How I download the PowerPoint into OneNote, and how I actually take my notes in class. There are a few downsides. I did look into different note-taking softwares, but I was looking more so for what would be the most economic for what I needed, because I didn't know how to take notes on my iPad or if that would even work for me. So I didn't want to pay for an app that I would need to, like, you know, if I wasn't gonna like it, you know, if I had to pay for a yearly subscription or a monthly subscription or just to download the app, and I hate it, you know. So I'd rather get a free app and try it out, and then if I don't like it, or if it was recommended to me by somebody else but I've already been using like iPad based note taking, then I would consider it. You know, I didn't want to invest in something that I wasn't 100% certain on yet. So I downloaded OneNote, and I've actually been using it for a while now. In some of my other videos where I do some teaching, I use OneNote to do like the handwritten stuff. So I had already been somewhat familiar with it, but I had never actually input a PowerPoint slide into it. So what I did notice, like a drawback, if you will, is that it depends on how it's inputted by the professor. In order to download it into your software. Like, it has to be a PDF. I don't know why when I try to put it in as a PowerPoint, it doesn't work. So what I do in like the Blackboard that they have for us to access the course materials, I can download alternate formats. So thankfully I just download alternate format, PDF, and I put it straight into my Google Drive. I'm gonna go into it when I get into the iPad, but I put it into my Google Drive and then I download it to OneNote, and that's where I take my notes. And it depends too if they are the kind of professors that add to the PowerPoints, or if it's just a set amount of PowerPoint slides, that's it. Because I have another professor that she likes to just continue the PowerPoint. Like, she has the original one and then she adds a few slides to it, and that's what her next lecture is. So it's like this really massive PowerPoint at the end of 4 weeks, let's say. So I don't like that so much, because I can't just put her slides into like what she added differently. Like, I have to do it in a separate page. Again, I'm gonna go into it when I go to the iPad. So it's like I just have to set it up week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, even though it's the same material. And then what I took my notes on is what I know what she covered, if that makes any sense. But this last week I had trouble because a professor didn't allow alternate formats, I guess, when it came to downloading the PowerPoint as a PDF. So I had to save it to my computer. Like, I had to open my computer. This was like in the middle of class and they're talking and I'm like, oh my god, I can't get it into OneNote. So I had to actually like save it, print as a PDF, and then save it to the computer, and then download that to the Google Drive, and then from the Google Drive put that in the OneNote. And like, what sucked is that we had a meeting before class. Otherwise I would have been prepared, because it was between our lunch break. They came to talk to us, you know, to check in on us, see how everything was going. So I didn't want to be like, you know, on my computer while they're, you know, the dean of the program is talking to us. So I didn't download the PowerPoint in class. So then I'm like scrambling, and it really it wasn't convenient for me, but I found a way around it, and it's really hasn't been that, what's the word I want to use? Inconvenient for me. But you have to be careful, because if you like accidentally like move a slide, then like everything that you highlighted doesn't move with it. You know, it's like, even though you highlighted this one line on the slide, if you accidentally like move a slide up, then your highlighting is going to be like in some random spot. So you just got to be careful with the formatting after you've already started to do your notes. But anyways, I'm going to stop jibber jabbering and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about on the iPad, and then I will come back in a little bit. Okay, so I'm on my iPad right now. I'm gonna just show you how I set it up, like if I'm in class. Anyway, okay. Excuse me. So this is how I have my classes set up. I only have 4 classes that have actual lectures that I actually take notes on. The other class is an online writing class, so I don't necessarily take my notes like this. We do weekly assignments and discussions, so I don't really need to do that. But for my major core lectures, I have these tabs for each class. And I like that because then it keeps it organized, and I have the syllabus for every class. And then as the weeks go on, I don't know why it kind of goes into some sort of alphabetical order or whatever. I could probably fix it, but I haven't yet. So then I'll designate it by week. So that way I know for this lecture, it's week 5. And then it's like, let's say week 5 is like physics and like something like that. So I'll have all my lectures like that. And then it's easy for me to reference when it's the test time, because like you'll say, oh, okay, we're going to go over for test 2. It's going to be lectures 4 through 8. So then I'll go, okay, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 8. And then week 7, I skipped one, but all of the lectures that he's going to give, and then I'll have it based like that. So let me just kind of show you how I download the PDF into it, and then that way you can get a feel of how it works, and maybe OneNote will work for you. So this is OneNote. This is how it looks on the App Store. It's this little purple N. I think it's a Microsoft. Yeah, it's a Microsoft application. So it works pretty seamlessly on the iPad. So I don't mind it. But let me make a separate section. Let's call this practice class so that we can go into it. Whatever. And then here I'm going to put, this is how I separate it so that I know that which week we're covering that lecture. And I'm going to just input a lecture into this. And I'll hit Insert, PDF. And I'm just going to pick a random one. Let's say this one. I hope it's not too big a file. Oh, over 200 megabytes, it doesn't work. So you have to probably print it out if it's a big file. It sometimes takes a little bit, so I'll hit it a couple times and I'm like, it's downloading. But I like to do this ahead of time. So they're pretty good about uploading the PowerPoints for the week ahead of time, but sometimes they'll upload it that same day. And the Wi-Fi in my mom's house isn't the greatest, so I download it at school. And then I put it into the lecture as I'm preparing. But like this last time, it was such a struggle because it wouldn't let me download the format that I needed to put it into OneNote. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is the actual lecture. So let me just pick another one. Something kind of small. I don't know why I'm being so extra. All right, let's just pick this one. All right, and so when I have my iPad like this, like if it's on the keyboard, but while I'm actually taking the notes, I set it up like if it's just a piece of paper. So I'll flip it and I'll just put the keyboard back. Okay, so I'm gonna just hide his name. Sorry, that was kind of a lot, but whatever, ignore that. All right, so I like to have it in this like full screen mode so that I can write on it. But what's cool, you have to hit draw in order to use the pencil. What's cool is that you can designate like certain pen colors. So like if he'll say like don't need to know, I'll put it like don't need to know. But if he's like, oh yeah, this is probably, and I might ask this like as a matching game or something like, or I want you to know that prazosin is a selective alpha-1 antagonist. So then you're like, oh, okay. So like, all right, he's going to ask this on the test. So I'm going to put need to know. Wow, I can't spell. Need to know. And then I'll put like probably matching game. So that way I can remember to make a mnemonic for it, and then I can guarantee that I get that question right. Or sometimes I'll circle the PowerPoint number so that I know, okay, this is something that I need to know. I'm going into detail on how I take notes, but I'm just trying to show you how I use OneNote. But if it works for you, hey, that's all I need. Just to help one person out, right? Anyway, so then I'll just go through this, and like if he says something like, oh, this is important, then I'll highlight it, and then that way I can remember to look at it later. And like it is what it is with every class. Like you have to find a groove for how they ask their questions, especially if you've already been exposed to the test. So I'll go through the class, and then I'll have all my little notes on the side and like all that going on. But then what I was mentioning earlier is that you can't move it. So like if you accidentally like move the slide itself, it's gonna move the slide but not your notations. So you got to be careful. Don't accidentally screw that up. What else? Yeah, anyways, I really like that. Let me show you kind of how I've done for like this chem and physics class. It's great because it's all math. So then what I do is I actually work out the problems on the side. Some of them I get bored and like I kind of like make some little doodles, but it's like whatever it gets you through the class. But more so I use this to like as my scratch paper to do the problems, the practice problems that he gives us throughout the class, because this class is pretty much like how to calculate all the important things that we need in nursing. And I like it because it's a refresher, and I like chem, physics, and biochem, so it's really not a difficult class for me. I enjoy it, I really do. And I really like doing it on the iPad because I have all of my notes here, so that I can reference it later, and then I can see how I worked out the problem. If I forgot how to do the problem, I just did it. Like I have it all there, so it's not complicated. At least not for me, not for this class. So that's why I like OneNote a lot. It's really helping me. I wouldn't say I'm 100% paperless. I would like to get there one day, but I feel like when I'm taking my notes, especially when I'm preparing for a test, I really need to write it down. Especially if it's something that I need to know, I'll put it down on a separate piece of paper, and then that's what I'll take with me to study. I have like maybe like a stapled like 3 or 4 pages of like key notes throughout the 4 lectures for the test, and for me that helps. It just kind of condenses it a lot. But I do feel like I need to actually look at the PowerPoints for me to get through. Like I don't know, very visual. So if I see like, for instance, this chart, we didn't need to know it, but let's say he would want us to fill it in at some point, like I would literally like to study it like this versus on a piece of paper. Does that make sense? Like it just sometimes for me it helps to look at the PowerPoints, and sometimes it helps for me to make my keynotes. But I try my best to not print out stuff. I'm trying to be paperless, as they say, a paperless student. I'm working toward it, but I still need that little, that old school, put a pen to paper for it to get stuck in my head. If that makes any sense. But anyways, so that's how I've been doing it, and I really like it. I haven't used any other note-taking software. I told you I did do some research beforehand, but I just wanted something quick, and it was something I was already familiar with, so I just went with it and moved on. And it's been working. But I've heard some other good things about Notability, things like that. Like you can record the lecture, and you can actually like put notes, and it'll like alert you, I think, while you're taking the notes, or like while you're listening to the lecture again, that you wrote a note at that point. I don't know, but it's some pretty cool stuff. But for me, this is good enough. And then also our professors do sometimes post the lectures on Blackboard, so then I can access the lectures, and it helps me like that. So anything that works for you, but I really do like this software, and it's really been helping me get through. Anyways, but that's it. So I'll go to my outro, and then I will talk to you guys later. So how did I even get that PDF there? So I'm sorry, I totally skipped steps. I use Google Drive. So my Google Drive, I have all my files in there, and this is where I download the actual PowerPoint to. So when I'm in the lecture in Blackboard, I'll download the PowerPoint in let's say for the week, pain, let's say he does love to put them as PowerPoint. So then I'll just hit these 3 things, hit alternate formats. This is what I get for Blackboard. I don't know how it works for your software, but I use the tag PDF one and I put download, and then it takes a few seconds, I would say like a minute at least, to download it. And then so it's now showing up as a PDF. So then what I'll do is I'll put export, and I'll put export to my drive, and then I'll select the folder, my drive, and I'll put save here and upload, and then I have it there. So then when I open it in OneNote, it's how I was explaining. I don't like to do the direct export to OneNote because I don't know if it's going to the right place. I'd rather make sure that I'm doing it and I'm putting it in the right spot. But that's about it as far as how I download from my OneNote, how I download from my Google Drive into my OneNote. But that's how I do it, and it works. So whatever you guys would like. I'm sure you could use the iCloud Drive, but I use OneDrive. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. I use Google Drive. But anyways, yeah, so back to the video. So that's it for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I hope it really helps you. I actually got the idea to download the PowerPoints into OneNote from Rihanna Ferriel. Shout out to you. You've really set me up for success when it comes to CRNA School. I followed you all throughout your journey. That's why I'm going ahead and going along with mine to see if I can help someone along the way as well. But yeah, if you guys have been following my journey along as I go, I was preparing for some pretty hard tests for the last 2 weeks, and thankfully I succeeded and I'm all right. So I've taken this weekend to myself. I haven't really done much of school, which, I mean, there isn't much to cover, but I've really just been working on like odds and ends around the house, like taking care of my animals. Like really, school has been in the back burner this weekend, and it's been amazing. Like it's only been a few days where I haven't put school on my mind 24/7, and in a way I feel somewhat guilty, but in a way I'm like so relieved. You know, we got through this really hard hump that we have. I mean, we still have 2 sets of exams for each test, for each class, but at least I got through the halfway point. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be posting next week, but I hope you follow me along. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!